I'm Ian McClintock, and this video is one of the resources from the free Charity Excellence Risk module. In it, I'll explain the 4 components of the risk management cycle. Risk is often seen as a negative issue, but in actual fact, it's uncertainty, and there can be upside risks. So, for example, that unexpected legacy. There's no reason why you should manage upside risk, and many don't. But if not, bear in mind that when you look at your risk register, that's not a balanced view of the risks that your organisation faces. There are 4 components to the cycle: identification of risks, assessment, their management, and review. There are a huge spectrum of risks that are possible, and so rather than focusing in on the very obvious ones, sit down and think of all the different types of risks that your organisation faces and write them out in a list. And then assess them. Risk has 2 components: probability, which is the likelihood of that risk occurring, and impact is what that would do to your organisation if it did. Often the most serious risks are not the high-profile obvious ones, but rather those that would have a substantial impact and have a reasonable probability of happening. And then you need to decide how to manage the key issues you face. Avoid, for example, switch the computers off to avoid a fire happening overnight. Mitigating the risk if it does happen, for example, fire equipment and procedures. Transferring the risk to another organisation, for example, fire insurance. Or accepting the risk. You can't manage everything, and therefore you just need to accept there are things that you can't do anything about. Contingency plans are a good way of ensuring that you're able to respond to those that you haven't managed or didn't manage to foresee. And there is a tendency to see risk as a standalone issue. It's not. If you increase the targets in your annual plan, you're increasing the operational risk. If you cut the budget, you're increasing the financial risk. Strategic risks tend to be less obvious, less urgent, but can be much more important. If you focus effort and resources on managing the longer term risk, then the risk in the near term goes up. But if you don't manage the strategic risk, then the strategic risk goes up. And therefore, what you need to do is you need to look at the whole picture and do that on an ongoing basis, because it will change over time, which is why it's a risk management cycle. If you want to assess your risk in 30 minutes and online, you can do so in the Charity Excellence Framework and access a whole range of toolkits, templates and policies to support you in doing so. Join the 8,000 plus charities who are already members of our community by going to charityexcellence.co.uk and clicking register now. Thank you.